name is Annalisa, and today I'm going to be making some Valentines. So as you can see, I've already gotten started. I'm going to be making one for my dad first, and I've got a few scraps of black paper from where I've been cutting out these little hearts that you can see me sticking on. And so what I'm going to be doing with my little scraps is, you've seen I've rolled them into little cylinders, and so I had the idea that I kind of wanted to make this a little bit 3D, so I thought I would make little something for the main heart to sit on so that it would stick out from the paper, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way it turned out, considering it was made from scraps and not a very well established plan before I just got to it. So there we go, we got 3D Valentine's card, and now I'm gonna start on my mom's. So for my mom, I had the idea of drawing us together, and I didn't want to take up the whole page with it. I just wanted to do it kind of inside of a heart here. So right now I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to shape the heart, which took a little while, but just kept going and figured it out eventually. Kept going until it looked good. So this is the first time that I've actually drawn two characters interacting. I usually just draw one at a time because I'm not terribly sure of myself, so this isn't something that I've tried yet, but I was excited to try something new and push myself a little bit. So I got the idea that I wanted us to be hugging. I just googled how to draw people hugging and went to the Google Images for some reference and found one that was a little bit like this, not very similar, but that gave me enough of an idea that I was able to figure out what I wanted to do. And so as you can see, I've got their outlines very roughly, and I ended up once I was satisfied with where their outline was, I started filling in their arms. In my family, Valentine's Day has always been very much a family holiday. My mom always gets all of us kids and dad Valentine's cards and a little gift and things like that. And every year since I was a very little girl, I've made Valentine's cards for all my immediate family members. So my dad, my mom, my brother, and my little sister. And so it's very much a tradition, and I'm very happy about it. I really like it's sometimes hard for me to express affection because I'm so shy, so it's nice to have a day that's set apart for it when I can feel less awkward about it. Even 2 years ago, when I was in England away at Bible school, I still made cards for my family and sent them by airplane back to my family because it was really important to me. And my mom also sent me one that I set in my room on my desk, and that helped me feel a lot less lonely because that was a very lonely time in my life. So you can see I've gotten rid of a lot of the internal lines of the arms and things and have been working on getting the outline more exact, and so now I'm starting to work on the faces, which I had a really hard time with both my eyes and my mouth. I had a really hard time feeling like I didn't look like I was smirking evilly, so I gotta do that again and again. But my mom's, I feel like I hit on fairly early on, so at least there's that. So I've also left the outline for the top of my mom's head mostly blank because I'm going to be filling that in with colored pencils for her hair, so I don't want to have any dark lines there that I couldn't erase. And there we go. The eyes are looking a little bit better. So it should be time for some outlining. So I have kind of mixed feelings about Valentine's Day. I really like when it's used as a family and friends sort of holiday. Partially because that's the only way I've ever had it, but also platonic love is really important to me, which I've talked about in a couple of my other videos, but I really like that a lot of people use it that way, so that's nice. But an unfortunate thing about Valentine's Day is that a lot of people also feel lonely. And I was just watching on TV a couple days ago, the Charlie Brown Valentine special was on, and one of them was, of course, about Charlie Brown giving out Valentines but not getting any in return, which is something that apparently happens to a fair number of people, because I've seen it in a fair number of stories, and it has also happened to me in the past. And when I was away at Bible school, I was a little bit worried about that happening to some of my friends. So I decided that I would make sure that nobody in the school, or at least none of the students, went without a Valentine's Day card. So it was a school of about 150, about 45 boys and 105 girls. So I couldn't make Valentines nearly as detailed as the ones I make for my family for all of them. So what I did was I went and wrote down all the names. So I had a list, and that way I could work off that and not forget anyone. And I got some sheets of paper and I started drawing just little doodles. I really like doing little doodles, especially hearts and flowers and stuff. So I divided up A4 pieces of paper into, how many was it? Probably 6 across, 10 up and down, little rectangles. I divided it into a bunch of little rectangles that I could draw on and put people's names on. So they were probably about 2 inches by 1 inch. And so I did little borders where I drew little hearts around the edges, or little vines, or sometimes little crosses, or whatever. If I knew them, I drew something that I thought they might be interested in, and used a bunch of color. And for everybody, I used a bunch of colored markers to try to make it jolly and happy. And it took a long time, but eventually I had all 150 students' names on little cards with decorations, little tiny slips of paper with decorations. And Valentine's, the night before Valentine's, I went down to, what were they called? They had a cool name. Pigeonholes. They were called pigeonholes. Our mail system was, we had a bunch of little cubbies organized by last names, with the letters of last names. So I went down and put my itty bitty cards in everyone's pigeonholes. And so at least that year, none of the students had to deal with not having anything on Valentine's Day, and I felt really good about that. And so I also did a little bit more detailed cards for my particular friends, and put some little glitter in them, and so that was fun. That was a very satisfying Valentine's for me, and a happy one. and I wore all that day a bracelet that my mom had given me so that I would feel a little bit less lonely, as of course my usual Valentine's was with my family and I didn't have them there. So while I was blathering about that, I didn't tell you much about my sister's car that I just made. That's who I'm drawing the cat for, and I actually got to base it on my yellow cat, Aomer, who was sitting on the bed next to me while I was drawing. So now I'm working on my mom's hair. She's got curly red hair. It used to be a lot redder, but now it's mostly auburn and dark brown. But I put in her little red highlights with this nice, fun orange pen. So, and I'm pretty happy with that. So this is more my usual medium that I draw people in with colored pencils and some pen outlining, as opposed to my watercolors that I used on my drawing video that I did earlier. So I was a lot more comfortable with this, and it was a less risky medium for something I was going to give to someone else. Also, I'm working on just plain, it's not construction paper, it's scrapbooking paper actually, because my mom scrapbooks, so she has a lot of scrapbooking paper that she lets me use. So I couldn't have very well used watercolors on it anyway. And then, since it looked a little bit bare, I decided to do something for the background. And what occurred to me was doing little rows of hearts all up and down. So that's what I'm working on now, getting all the lines straight. I couldn't bother myself to get up off my chair and go find a ruler. I just wanted to stay sat, so I just grabbed the closest straight edge thing and made do. And I very much, this little bit of drawing the hearts hurt my hand quite a lot. My hand got into several cramps, so I occasionally had to pause and give myself a little stretch, a little hand rub. So, but I think the way it turned out in the end was very nice, and I was pretty satisfied with it. So at least there's that. One of the things about drawing people interacting was making sure that the way they kind of held themselves and held each other was correct for the relationship. It was like making their body posture look comfortable and friendly and things like that. And since I'm so inexperienced with drawing two people together, I was kind of worried about that, but I think it went well. It did take me quite a while to find reference material that was good, though, so probably one of the biggest reasons that it turned out well was that I found a really good reference. That even though my end product looks a lot different from what I started with, I was able to, it helped a lot figuring out their attitudes and the way that, the general way that people would hold each other in that circumstance. So yeah, do you ever use references for your art? Do you use yourself as a reference, or your friends like I talked about in my last drawing video, or do you mostly use pictures online like I did for this one? Tell me about it in the comments. Also, what do you do for Valentine's Day? Do you usually celebrate it with a significant other, or do you mainly do family and friends, or both? Probably if I get a significant other, I'll probably do both, not just one or the other. So a while ago, as you might have seen in my stationery haul, I got some very fun pens, glitter pens, that I was very excited to use, so I thought that this would be a good opportunity. So I went over in this kind of light pen first, which is a fairly old pen that I haven't had the opportunity to use yet, so that was exciting. And I just thought that, a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine would really jazz things up and make things more fun. And I usually draw more just plain hearts or swirls or things like that on my Valentine's cards, but this year I was feeling kind of like I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and out of my box, so I tried out some dots and some little dots and big dots, and I really like the way it turned out, especially with the 3D effect of the heart in the middle. I thought it looked really fun, and I really thought that it jazzed up the very plain theme and very plain and simple way that I had done it, and just having a little bit of glitter, a little bit of design made a big difference in how it looks. And I think this is one of the ones that I've been most proud of in the last few years, so now I'm gonna start working on my brother's card. And so I've never used these sparkly markers before, so I didn't know how to use them, and so it took me quite a while to figure out how to get any of the ink to come out. It turns out you have to press the entire nub on the end will depress back in, and then you have to, as you can see I'm doing, shake it back and forth very vigorously for a long time until the tip becomes saturated with ink, and then it'll finally write. But unlike a lot of other pens I might have found, these ones showed up really well on black paper, so I'm glad I tried them out, even if it was difficult to figure it out. So I thought I'd kind of do a reverse of what I did with my dad's for my brother's, since I had the sort of scrappy pieces of the opposite paper. I thought it'd be good to switch, and so instead of black on red, I've got red on black. I didn't do anything 3D for this one, but I did end up doing quite a lot of work with the pens, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Anyway, see the silver pen shows up, or the silver marker shows up really well on the black, so I was really happy with that, and I had a lot of fun doing my little dots and swirls. And I also really like asymmetrical patterns. It's not my usual style. I'm usually very sort of conservative, I guess. I like to make things very, I guess I'm not very brave usually, so I usually make things very symmetrical, but I wanted to have some fun, so I did a lot of very asymmetrical stuff for this one. Was just looking a little bit too unrelieved and a little boring, so I thought I need to jazz it up with just some pretty random squiggles and just let myself flow, let it go, sorry. So I just kind of decided to let my hand flow freely, and it kind of turned out, kind of didn't, but oh well. He's not gonna care. He's not gonna care that much, but I'm glad that I was brave and tried something new, even though I was a little nervous about it, and even if it didn't turn out perfectly the way I was planning, I like it anyway, and I'm proud of myself. This filling in also was very painful for my hands, but very satisfying, and I also found it extra satisfying when I went back and was editing and set it up. So it's fun to watch all the little hearts getting filled in. And so now I wanted to get some jazzing up going for my little sister's card. This particular cat, Aomer, is her favorite, so that's why I decided to draw him for her card. And he is a yellow and white cat, so I decided to use some more of my glitter pens and markers to do the jazzing, and add in his coloring, as he is a tabby, and an orange tabby. And so I got to color in his little stripes, and once again had a very hard time getting the ink to come into the tip of the marker, although at least this time I knew what had worked before, so I at least knew to keep trying, even though I didn't seem to be having any success. And so those are my family Valentines. So I'd love to know about how you celebrate and what sort of drawing you've been up to this week. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing for my next drawing video, but my next overall video, I think I'm going to be doing a Valentine's stationery haul, so Valentine's themed stationery, and so look forward to that. Thank you for watching. Bye!